What do you call a man who was born in chains, but whose name became a symbol of courage, rebellion, and unity? What do you call a moment when thousands of men, beaten and enslaved, stood tall, not for riches, not for revenge, but for something far greater? I am Spartacus. 3 words that shook the world. But before those words echoed across cinema screens and history books, there was a man who lived those values, in blood, in battle, and in unbreakable belief. This is part 2 of the Spartacus story, and it dives even deeper into the mindset that made him legendary. Let's begin. In the shadow of the Roman Empire, a whisper turned into a roar. Spartacus had already escaped his chains, already raised a rebellion, already defeated armies. But now, he faced a greater challenge, keeping the rebellion united. Rome was terrified, not just of Spartacus's strength, but of his ability to bring people together. Slaves from Gaul, Thrace, Germania, and beyond, men who spoke different tongues, came from rival tribes and had nothing in common, except one thing: the desire to be free. And Spartacus knew exactly what was at stake. It is better to fight for freedom than to live in quiet servitude. These weren't just words to Spartacus. They were a code. To the Romans, slavery was normal. To Spartacus, slavery was a slow death. He understood a profound truth, that the price of comfort in chains is your soul. Let me share a classic parallel. In 1776, Thomas Jefferson wrote in the American Declaration of Independence, "All men are created equal, endowed with unalienable rights. Among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." The American revolutionaries, like Spartacus, knew the danger of quiet servitude. They risked everything, and so did he. Let's bring this forward into modern times. Think about Malala Yousafzai, a teenage girl in Pakistan who was told to stay quiet, to stay obedient, to stay uneducated. But she fought back. She said, "We were scared, but our fear was not as strong as our courage." That's the same warrior flame Spartacus lit. Here are 3 ways you can live by that same fire. Reject passive living. If you feel trapped in a job, a system, or a mindset, don't settle. Challenge it. Speak when it's easier to stay silent. Quiet servitude isn't always physical. Sometimes it's spiritual. Break it. Take risks for what's right, not just what's safe. Comfort zones build prisons. Courage builds empires. As Spartacus's rebellion grew, so did its threat. Rome began to fear him, but more than that, they feared the idea of him. Why? They fear us because we are united. This quote may sound simple, but it contains ancient power. Unity has always been the greatest threat to tyranny. Divided slaves were nothing. Together they were an army. Spartacus understood this. He didn't just lead with his sword. He led with vision. He built a force from people Rome had deemed worthless. He gave them belief, brotherhood, purpose. And Rome? They couldn't handle it. Let me share a legendary example. In the Zulu kingdom, Shaka Zulu united scattered tribes into one disciplined force. The British Empire, used to divided enemies, was stunned when they faced Zulu warriors acting in coordinated unison. Fast, fearless, and together. Same pattern, same power. Unity terrifies the powerful. In modern times, look at Martin Luther King Jr. It wasn't just his speeches that shook America. It was the marches. Thousands walking together, black, white, old, young, arm in arm. That unity made governments tremble. So how can we embody this in today's world? Stop seeing others as rivals. See them as allies. Don't compete with those who are also fighting to rise. Collaborate. Build strong, loyal circles. In every battle, you need warriors beside you. Choose them wisely. Unite around values, not just goals. Spartacus's army fought for freedom, not just survival. That's what kept them together. Now pause with me. If you feel the fire of Spartacus, if you're tired of fear, division, and quiet chains, then hit that like, comment, and subscribe right now. This is Conrad Warriors, where the stories of the bold still breathe. Let's continue. Let's move to perhaps the most iconic moment of all. The rebellion had been crushed. Spartacus's army had been defeated. Roman soldiers demanded to know, which one of you is Spartacus? They wanted him for execution. Silence. And then, one man stood. I am Spartacus. Another rose. I am Spartacus. Then another, and another, until the whole group all stood as one. I am Spartacus. Was this real history? It was dramatized in the 1960 film. But truth isn't always in the facts. Sometimes it's in what the moment means. This scene has become a universal symbol of solidarity. It says, I will not betray my brother. I will not abandon my leader. I will stand, even if it costs me everything. Here's a powerful real-world example. In Nazi-occupied Denmark, when the Nazis ordered all Jews to wear the yellow Star of David, the Danish king allegedly said, "Then we shall all wear the star." Though the story is debated, it spread like wildfire because it captures the same spirit. I will not let you stand alone. Another example? In 2015, after a terrorist attack on a kosher supermarket in Paris, thousands around the world held signs. Je suis juif. I am Jewish, just like I am Spartacus. It meant, if you come for one of us, you come for all of us. Now here are 3 mindset lessons from this. Stand for those who can't stand for themselves. The strongest warriors protect others, not just themselves. Don't betray your values under pressure. Even when it's dangerous, stay loyal to your principles and people. Be the first to rise, to audit, and others will follow. Courage is contagious. Sometimes all it takes is one voice to start a movement. Let's now close with this. Spartacus may have died, his body may have been lost to time, but his spirit was never defeated. Why? Because he stood for something deeper than power. He stood for freedom, unity, and defiance. He showed the world that even a man born in chains could become a symbol of unbreakable will. That even slaves, when united, could terrify the most powerful empire in the world. And that sometimes, a whisper of courage becomes a roar of rebellion. It is better to fight for freedom than to live in quiet servitude. They fear us because we are united. I am Spartacus. If those words mean something to you, if they stir something in your soul, then don't just watch. Live them. Stand for your values. Unite with your tribe. Fight for your freedom. Every single day. Because that's what Spartacus did, and that's what makes you a Conrad warrior. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because these stories aren't just history. They're a mirror reminding you who you truly are. And as always, the warrior never dies. He simply passes the flame.